professionals each year.
Really?
And you'll see that there's scores of them listed, and that's just for Sussex.
Oh my
There's
God.
7 in one town, which is Lewes, which is famous for it. It's the bonfire night capital of the world, Lewes.
Oh my God.
What are you doing?
Oh God, so they have like a proper big procession and everything, don't they?
Well, Lewis, the different groups, we got the Zulu Warriors, we got the Cavaliers used to be our one, we got the Romans, we got
like Crusaders or something.
there's tons of different. Most you have 2 or more groups anyway.
Do you all dress up then?
Oh, they are in full costume. We've got massive drum bands.
Wow.
And oh wow, you know when they're in town, you hear the drums throughout the whole town.
Oh my God. Do you dress up?
I'm not in one of the societies. I'm an outsider. I happily would.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I used to love all kinds of stuff like that. I used to be a member of Medieval Combat Society doing the jousting.
All the role playing stuff, doing all the
Reenactments, yeah, doing it at the castles and
yeah. There's quite a lot of that goes on in Manchester. There's an area called Castlefield, and there's like these Roman ruins that they've rebuilt there, and you see quite a lot of them, you know, like turning up in all their
pastime,
their medieval costumes. Trick or treating and Halloween, Jennifer?
Yeah, we had over 100 people. Oh, he just went live.
Yeah, we've just gone live, so we are live for another week and discussing Halloween at the moment and local tradition of bonfire night. But we will get started in the very, very traditional way. I don't know where Terry is. That's also part of the traditional way, wondering where Terry is. Bill, what have you been up to this week?
I haven't been doing any trick-or-treating. We don't get anybody showing up in my house. My apartment isn't viewable from the front of the house. People don't know I'm here, and they don't knock on my door.
Oh. You have to go out and pull them in then.
Yeah, the entrance to our bit, the road is sort of off the main road, up the back. You've got to go through an area that looks like a car park to get to the access road that leads to all our houses. So we don't get that many here. That and the fact they know better than to go on my lawn. Mine kind of warn them. But yeah, it's definitely a growing tradition in the UK, isn't it, Dawn?
Definitely, it's getting massive. Yeah, absolutely huge. I think, well, obviously social media is kind of driving it, isn't it? And
partly, and of course the
dressing up, putting pictures of themselves on all over the place, and you know, any excuse to be narcissistic, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. Although Britain tends to be more traditional anyway, you know, Halloween tends to be dressing up as ghosts, goblins, witches, the undead generally. Whereas America, it's much more of a generalized fancy dress thing now. You know, you've got a lot of superheroes and princesses and avoiding all the scary undead aspects of it.
Yeah, no, we're still into the scary undead bit here, aren't we?
Yes. But as I say, locally, the tradition is bonfire night, you know, the 5th of November. But now there are so many bonfire societies around the Lewes area, around Sussex, that they actually start at the start of October. So that they each have different weekends they've got their major procession at, because they all go. They have a big celebration and all of the local societies all go.
Oh my God, it sounds like a huge thing to organise.
Oh, it's massive. Yeah. If you look up Sussex Bonfire Societies, that will kind of give you the startings of it and some good places to go for links. But yeah, it's a huge event.
I've never heard of it before. You mentioned it.
Yeah. And it's great fun. It is full costumes, full marching bands. There are dancers. There are big displays, and of course, for Lewis, it's really traditional that they've got their effigies, and the effigies they put a lot of time and effort into. Some years it's sort of made the news when they've burned particular figures, or I think the one that caused the greatest concern one year was we'd had a lot of trouble with travellers in the region, keep on moving in, and disobedience, setting up on private land and all the rest of it, and refusing to move until they were forced to. So they made an effigy of a traveller caravan and burned it.
Oh my God!
Oh, of course, the burning caravan has significance to the gypsy tradition.
Oh, God.
It's a sign of great bad luck, and some people sort of they're okay with burning the effigy of public figures. They're okay with the fact that this year it's almost certain that Donald Trump and Hillary will have effigies amongst the ones that are out there. We've certainly had Maggie Thatcher. We've had Osama bin Laden. Nobody complains at all about that. And the minute they burn a caravan, oh.
And that whole thing you're doing effigies fascinating. Like there'd be such uproar if they did that here in Canada.
Yeah.
They've always done it, haven't they, really?
Yeah. The Battle Bonfire Society goes back to the 17th century, the 1600s. It is documented that they would go out on bonfire night there and celebrate.
I always forget that you don't have that anywhere else, do you? It's a UK only thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's our 4th of July because that's our big fireworks tradition.
I don't like it. I don't like it for the pets. The dog goes mad, so
I try not to burn the pets.
I know. Yeah, she goes mad when we throw her on the local bonfire.
Yeah, well, it shouldn't have been on my lawn.
Yeah.
Jen, what have you been up to this week?
Well, we had all the trick-or-treaters come by last night, so had over 100 kids. I started to get worried that I was going to run out. And we actually had an interesting discussion on Facebook that, we see a lot more teenagers coming out now for the free candy. And, when it was all the little kids, I was giving them, 2 or 3 pieces of candy. But, if it was, the teenagers, I would, give them 1 piece of candy.
You didn't have to resort to yogurt.
Yeah, yogurt and grated carrot. I ate loads of the sweets in the afternoon. That was the problem. My theory was that 4 small curly whirlies is really only equal to 1. So when John went out and got all these big tubs of Haribo Star Mix and packets of curly whirlies, and you just get carried away with yourself when you're just working, and because you can get a bit like that, can't you? When you're in the middle of something. So anyway.
Now the curly whirly is a local sweet. Just for those who don't know, this isn't some weird reference to pubic hairs.
I've never even heard of that.
Well, it's a bit like we hear the Americans going on about butterballs and lemon heads and what?
Yeah.
We don't have those here either.
You should try a curly whirly. They're really nice.
I don't think they can get them done.
They're very low points on Weight Watchers as well, because there's loads of gaps in the middle of them, so you feel like you're eating more, but actually a lot of it's holes. So there's no point.
And a lot smaller than they used to be when we were kids as well. They used to be as long as a ruler, and now they're half that sort of size.
Yeah.
Now, I hated the fact that all the sweets kind of quietly downgraded their sizes when people weren't looking.
Yeah,
pretty much all of the
chocolates. Price or more. Yeah, well, that's what they do, isn't it? I thought that wasn't allowed. I thought that they weren't allowed to reduce the size. I don't know.
I don't think so. I know Consumerists is always talking about how so many products they call it the great shrinking ray or something, about how all these products, the packaging looks identical, except the actual amount of contents in the packages is changed, and the price, of course, remains the same.
Yeah.
And I agree with Dawn. I don't think that should be allowed. Once you've branded a product,
It's almost deceptive.
this thing equals this thing and this amount,
Yeah.
I think you should have to actually, have a really big disclaimer if you change the size. I think there should be a regulation on that.
It's very sneaky.
Yeah. Kristen, what have you been up to this week?
You know, I should be prepared for this question every week.
I know I've never asked this before.
I got nothing.
I will
Moving
get
on.
to my week later. Dawn, what have you been up to this week?
Oh my God. Well,
Got your presentation, your proposal in?
yeah, well, that's what all I've been doing. That's it. I got back from Vegas and then I went to see the dissertation supervisor, and everybody else had started it weeks before. But because I had to do other stuff, I didn't get a chance. And I was saying, oh God, I'm not going to get it done. He said, oh no, you can do it. But so literally I had to sort of, from last Wednesday, I'd started it by then, but it was a real mess. And then from last Wednesday, I literally had to like cancel loads of things and like move stuff around and just do nothing, but literally just sit all day, every day. And literally, I'm surprised that grass hadn't started to grow on me, because I literally just did not move for like nearly a week, or more than a week, actually. No, nearly a week. Anyway, I managed to submit it last night, just before the deadline. So thank God for that.
I've put that live link in the event for those who want to join. But I kind of owe John a bit of a rant about IKEA, because that's one of the big things I was up to recently. We were redoing things. The kids both needed new mattresses, and daughter, let's give her a new bed as well. And we decided to get her one of those high sleepers, the raised up beds, so that she's got room for a desk and more space underneath. So we got one from IKEA. It looked nice enough, steel frame, all the rest of it. IKEA have this wonderful thing with instructions. They shouldn't use words, they just want to have pictures. Now, when you've got something complex to do, this is kind of like being taught physics with a picture book with no words in it. It's not going to bloody work. Now, I understand this saves them a little bit of money on having translators, one for each country. I'm sure that £100 an hour for 2 hours to translate something from one instruction book to another is a huge expense, and saving that, maybe a penny per product is a huge deal to everyone. No, it bloody isn't. The 4 hours that it took to put this bloody thing together, because not only were the pictures bloody confusing when so many of the pieces look much the same, 2 of the pieces, the picture was wrong, and I think they must have changed the product since they did the book, because the order it said to put it together in, we had to undo it twice, because no, this piece has to go in first or it won't fit together.
How frustrating. Oh God.
We do flat pack furniture all the time.
It's always like this. You can never buy anything from IKEA that has more than like 4 pieces to it, because that's exactly what happens. And I just shared a cartoon in the chat, which basically is exactly what it's like for IKEA.
Yeah, I love flat pack furniture. I enjoy it. I do it as a hobby. We've got so much stuff that came as flat pack furniture.
Oh God.
We are never buying IKEA again.
No, if we ever get anything that is flat pack, we almost end up killing each other. I'm better at it than John. Luke's better at it than me, and we all end up like screaming and shouting, and divorce is on the mention more than once.
No, we were better than that. We were all in it together. But yeah, at one stage, this was a 2-person thing. That's only because you've got to turn the bed over. Well, look, there wasn't room to turn the bed over. If it was a big room, we wouldn't need a bloody high sleeper in the first place, would we? It's a small room. It doesn't have room to turn a bunk bed sideways and upside down and things like that.
Oh God. Oh, no, it sounds awful. I hate the way that IKEA have that whole thing where they make you have to go, you can't just walk back out of it because you have to go through the whole maze, don't you, to actually get to the other side and where the meatballs are. You literally...
They do that here too. So they don't have meatballs here.
Oh, they have meatballs here, don't they? They're not that nice, actually. They're pretty awful, but people do rave on about the meatballs.
Oh, America seems to love the meatballs.
Oh,
I think they're more popular than the furniture.
Yeah. Oh, but no, I hate that whole, and they do it in airports as well now. Manchester airport's like that, where you have to walk through all the shops in a maze. You can't bypass anything. You have to go through every single part of the duty free in Manchester Airport to get to the actual gates.
Yeah.
It's quite sneaky, really.
Yes, and lots of places have done it. I mean, it's big money. You know, Heathrow, the biggest airport in the country. I mean, it's a massive deal. Who's got which concessions and who gets to be there and where they are.
I bought stuff in Heathrow Airport.
Yeah.
But can you at least walk past shops in Heathrow? In Manchester, you have to go through the duty free in a kind of zigzag fashion.
Yeah, I've noticed that a lot of airports I've gone through recently, they do the same thing as well.
Yeah, you can't just walk past and not go in. You just have to you've got to go through it, haven't you? That's it.
A lot of them now are starting to do that sort of open plan market area that, you know, where basically it's almost like a department store. Well, yeah, you find yourself walking through it.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you have like a 5-hour layover or something, what else are you going to do? They probably make a lot of money that way.
Well, yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Bill, do you mind me mentioning about you were telling us a scary story?
Sure.
Can you tell it?
You mean the story I was telling about the place where my cousins live in New Jersey?
Yeah. Is it a secret?
No, it's not a secret. They live in a house that was built during revolutionary times in the U.S. And it was a inn that a lot of Americans and British used to dine at the same time, peacefully. It was built when on the East Coast in New Jersey, when there were still Indians in the area. And the second floor, there were windows along the floor so people could lay on their bellies and shoot rifles out those windows to protect the building from Indians. It's supposedly one of the most haunted places in New Jersey. And the woman that they bought it from had a favorite ghost. The ghost with the piercing blue eyes.
Oh my God. I won't sleep tonight now after.
I used to work doing security for a few years in London, and some of the buildings, of course, that we guarded there were very famous. One of them was the Barclays building, which had the big Roman wall through it. It's one of the famous ones where there's this ghostly Roman legion that marches through still, because they discovered this Roman road was sort of in the foundations.
Did you see it?
No. But almost every place had a ghost story. Now, the one that was the scariest was a place I was guarding, belonged to Deloitte Haskins and Sells, opposite the Old Bailey. Every night at a certain time, you would hear high heels walking across the floor above, except the bit that the security desk is in sticks out from the building. There is no floor above, but you hear it. You hear the high heels walk across and walk back. And all it is the damn air conditioning cooling down of a night time, but the sound is exactly like high-heeled shoes. And that's where these sort of ghost stories come from.
Did you this whole this Halloween period, this last few days, there's been a lot of these ghost hunter programs on. Have you seen them where they're actually they go into these into castles or whatever, and they they pretend. Well, I don't know. They supposedly tap into all the spirits and so on, and it's all recorded. And have you seen those? Have you seen them this week, Bill? Ammon?
Not this week. I've seen them in the past. Oh God, they're dreadful. You know,
They
it's an
are,
hour of people trying to dramatise the fact that nothing happens.
No.
You know, they spend lots of times getting all excited and frightened about what could happen, but nothing, of course, ever does. They never find anything. I'm sure that glass wasn't there. You know, that's the highlight of the episode.
Mm-hmm. Did you hear that? It sounded like whispering.
Yeah. Now, I've seen some freaky stuff. There's a classic type of ghost called the woman in white.
Oh God, yeah.
And it's almost a spiritual thing, like, you know, alternate religions. And I have seen a woman in white.
Really? Oh my God! No, I'm going to not be able to sleep tonight after hearing this whole conversation. Like one of those in a long white gown.
Yeah, woman who didn't speak. You saw a woman in white, black hair in the distance. And when I went to look, we found somebody who'd got lost and was in a bit of trouble. That, you know, it was freaky. And yeah, nobody else, you know, the person that was there, the woman in white would have had to have gone past. He hadn't seen anybody.
Oh my God!
He'd got his ankle trapped, and got lost from the rest of the group. We'd been looking for him for about half an hour.
Oh my God! So do you think it was a ghost?
No, but I don't necessarily have any alternate theory as to what it was. But no, I don't believe in the dead coming back to life and you know, walking around the earth. No, if that happened, we would be inundated. You know, there are a lot more dead people in our world than there are living ones. You couldn't move for ghosts if that was actually a thing.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, God. My imagination is just too wild to ever watch horror films and scary films and read scary books and things. I watched, the last time I watched a scary film really was the Amityville Horror, and I jumped up that much that I actually tore a muscle in my neck. And I ended up with a neck brace on for about a month because, you know, I literally leapt off the settee, screamed, and my head flew back, and I tore a muscle in the right hand side of my neck, which is still sore to this day. So,
yeah, see, how lucky are you that you live in the UK? I mean, you try claiming on your medical insurance for a horror movie induced accident.
Oh, I know. No, it was. I'm just too much of a vivid imagination, really, and then I can't sleep for weeks after that. So better off keeping it to little trick-or-treaters coming to the front door for me. That's the height of my scary things.
It looks like there's a few people having trouble. For those that are having trouble, yeah, Chrome updated again this week. It looks like some people aren't able to load the Hangout app. A few people it's been crashing. Of course, for those that, you know, can't see us well, you don't know that I'm explaining this. But later, when you find out, we'll be able to say we told you so.
Hey, did anybody see? Did anybody see that piece on TechCrunch that was talking about some of the work that Chrome's going to be doing to try and make things faster for Windows? Did you see that? I think it was yesterday. There was an article flew past. I didn't get a chance to read it properly, but I wondered if anybody had actually had a chance to find out a bit more about it.
I haven't read it.
Because it is a bit of a nightmare sometimes, Chrome, isn't it?
But isn't that always their thing? Like they're always going to be making it faster.
Yeah, but apparently this article said they're aiming to make a massive leap forward with it, you know, rather than just like doing like little incremental business as usual type things to try and improve performance. I think they're going to do something quite drastic with it. So specifically Windows, because it is pretty, just uses so much blasted memory as well. It's, the minute you put a few things on there, extensions, my God, it just rinses your computer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been using Ghost Browser.
What did you call it? A ghost browser?
Yeah, it's Ghost Browser. Yeah, it's built off of Chromium, but it's so much faster. And like, I only have the extensions that I need in order to do my job. So
I'm a bit of an extension gatherer, and then an extension. I forgot that extension person. I just collect them for the fun of it and then never use them.
Well, it looks like, you know, we've got another set of issues. I'll tell you, Google are really pissing me off lately because, you know, we've got the thing again. They've changed it. Oh, you've got the new Google Plus again. No, look, there's a reason that you've introduced this 3 times and I've reset it back. I know you collect data. I know that because you've pushed, you are aware that people are setting it back. Oh, have it again. Yeah. Why are you pushing out again? Because you know we switched back. Do you know why we switched back? Because we bloody chose it.
I find it's too busy and too Facebooky.
yeah,
Like, and everything's bigger, and I like.
Yes, that's what I
Classic
can't
Alex.
see.
It's very compact.
There's no Hangouts tab. There's, you know, it just pushes collections. Oh, great. It's a picture sharing app. I don't want a picture sharing app. If I did, I'd be on Instagram, not bloody Google Plus.
I find it quite difficult to. I don't know. I just don't find it. There's some nice communities on there, but I just find them quite difficult to find in the first place. You know, people seem to. Don't know. There's not that interaction on there, but I don't know. I mean, a lot of other people seem to really love it. Google Plus. I've just never really massively got into it.
The conversations I get here, I get on no other social media platform. No other. LinkedIn has been good at times,
but
nothing.
I just find LinkedIn just so full of people that are just so rude.
Yeah, I rarely even log into it anymore because every time I do, it's like you get all these spam messages from people.
I had one today and I was furious actually. Well, not furious because I forgot about it after a few minutes, but briefly furious. Some woman who's actually, I won't say who, but she's a very respected businesswoman. She's an OBE, so she's very respected. She tagged me in on a message in LinkedIn Messenger with about 40 different people nearly that I didn't know from Adam. In a conversation, inviting me to something, and then every 2 seconds, other people were commenting in this conversation. It kept sending me notifications, and I just thought it was so unprofessional and inappropriate and just downright cheeky. So it's just, I don't know, it just feels it's becoming so spammy, really, and just full of growth hackers with no manners whatsoever. Anyway, rant over.
Well, that's it. They're called growth hackers. That's all you should know to unfollow them. Anyone with the title growth hacker who isn't a surgeon removing cancer, get rid of them.
Exactly.
I suppose, I mean, oh God, if it does mean ultimately they're people that are building something up with next to no funds, or they haven't got a venture capitalist in the background, payroll and everything, then sure, I understand that they've got to maybe take some other methods to reach out to people, but it's just manners, isn't it, really? When you don't tag somebody in with 38 other people and then just expect them to just thank you for it.
Well, I guess some people were responding, so some people were interested in it. But
yeah, they were all saying no. That's the thing.
Oh.
They're all popping up in my blasted LinkedIn Messenger thing.
Like when you get stuck on those CC emails where everyone's complaining about being on the CC, and it just makes the problem like 100 times worse because everyone's responding to everybody.
Yeah, but this almost feels kind of, I don't know, just as bad as that, really. And just everybody's always trying to sell you something on LinkedIn. I suppose that, I don't know, maybe that's what it's there for, but I just don't like it.
That's been my experience as well. People say they want to connect, and if I even talk to them, like there's like, I do this and I can do that, and you know, and I'm like, no, this is not how you meet people.
I go over on LinkedIn when Anton like sends me something. Like because that's how we get to know, like, oh, you know this person? LinkedIn profile. There you go.
The only time I've been on LinkedIn lately is because Anton was like, oh, can you introduce me to this person? Can you introduce me to that person?
Yeah.
Yeah, but at least Anton's had the manners to go about it in that manner.
Yes, exactly.
That's the way you do it, isn't it? You say, I believe you know this person. I'd be interested in connecting with them. Could you introduce me to them? That's how you do it. You don't just like blast out 38 tags to just drag somebody into a conversation that they don't even want to be part of.
No,
It's like putting like a fishing pole into a lake with like a ton of chum, and you're just waving it around, hoping the fish are gonna bite, rather than just going into the lake and grabbing the fish like a good Indian.
That's exactly it. Yeah, just I don't know, spray and pray mentality, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, there are different styles. SEO, we're all about attracting people to things. Now, there are the two approaches. There is the precise angler, who's kind of the sniper. He puts out the right bait. He knows exactly who he's after. Goes, catches that one. Very non-intrusive apart from the catch you wanted. Then you've got the ones it's the trawler approach. These are the ones with thousands of optimized pages that collectively bring in tons and tons. The individual traffic may not be good. Sometimes you get the wrong leads, but it works on industrial scale. And then you've got the ones like we're talking about. Now, these are the ones that throw dynamite into the water and wait for the dead fish to float.
Exactly.
But there's getting introduced to people. That's Anton's career there. That's how he's made all of these things happen. He met one person about 3 years ago, and everyone has come from that one person.
Yeah, but that's how you do it, isn't it? That's how you do it. You come across as somebody with decent manners, and you're polite and professional, and then sorry, it sounds maybe a bit old school, but for me, that's the way you should do things. You don't just come across as obnoxious and everywhere and just cheeky and presumptuous. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being an
with the rise of this whole thing about influencer marketing, isn't it? That there's these influencers, and articles make you think that all they're there for is, they're just waiting to introduce you to all these wonderful things or promote things on your behalf. Shine. They've got their own thing that they're doing. They've, built up an audience through what they're doing. If you want to reach an audience, build up one, or do something that appeals to them, that makes them want to cover it. It's just begging. That's begging. It's illegal in half the countries of the world.
Exactly.
And the worst of it is when you connect with them, and then within 5 minutes, they don't even wait. It's almost like they're just literally straight in.
It's like I see the people on Twitter and I'll follow them, and then I immediately get a DM from them saying, thank you, like it's obviously automated, thank you for following me. You should also follow me on Facebook and Twitter and here's all these other places, and subscribe to my newsletter. And I unsubscribe, or I unfollow them from Twitter is my response.
Oh, absolutely. They're the best ones. They know that you're a digital marketer, it's what you do, and then they send you a message saying, hey, if you want to learn about digital marketing, like,
I know it's like an insult. Like, I know I'm a student in this.
They're the best, aren't they? The ones that actually clearly are just working the numbers. They don't realise or care that you actually do what they do. Because you want to build your network with interesting people, and immediately they're like trying to be condescending and preach to you to learn about digital marketing.
Well, I think that's part of the part of what offends me is the condescension right from the get-go. When they hop in and they like, the message is usually something akin to, however they word it, it's akin to, you know nothing, I know everything, by me.
Exactly. Yeah.
The message.
Exactly.
I did get someone that I thought was really cool. He like, for some reason, he just did it right to me. Like he sent a video, like introduction in Twitter, and it just like 2 minutes. Hey, I have noticed you in Twitter stream, and you caught my eye. I'd like to introduce myself and tell you a little bit about me. This is just impromptu, and I just thought that was the coolest thing in the world because it was real.
Yeah, it works even better if they have clothes on.
That is probably the one style which I would actually think, oh well, that's quite good. Yeah, because it's different, isn't it? You can tell that they may be automated still, but you know they put a little bit of effort into it. It's not got that awful message that comes through and it says, you know, connect with me by, as Zara says, X, Y, and Z. You know, and share via these awful automated. You can see it's like they even say which automated plugin they actually used to DM you within
That's because they have the free one, not the paid one.
The same thing bugs me on LinkedIn all the time. Thanks to my top influencers or top, you know, people this week, and then it's a link to the bloody thing they're using. That means they haven't thought about it at all. It's just a piece of software they've given full access to their account.
I know. It's awful. Annoying. That's the best. Does anybody ever look at how you rank for profile views? And don't lie.
Wait, say it again.
I bet everybody looks at how you rank for profile views.
On Twitter?
On LinkedIn.
Oh.
You do. You do.
Oh, like, well, like where it measures, like, are you a superstar or something? Like in.
Have you not looked at it? How you rank? I think I was above Bill. I was above Bill today.
It was interesting.
Screen grab of it.
I didn't even know it was a thing.
We had Dixon turn up for an Isuzu chat, Bill and I, a good while ago, and he was showing how TrustFlow could be run across Twitter, and you could find influencers and people who really connected with lots of people through their TrustFlow scores that way, and that was fascinating. I was really surprised that I ranked as highly as I did, because people with a lot more followers were far beneath, but the thing they were looking at was the amount of engagement per post. And that, again, that's what I love G+ for. The amount of engagement I get here. I can, you know, there's sometimes I'll post something and only 20 people will look, but 10 of them will comment or respond. 50%. Now, you're lucky if you get 1% on Twitter.
Yeah. And I think does clout work a bit like that as well? Because there's people that have got absolutely loads of followers, but
clout is super easy to manipulate, though.
Yeah.
Because this was like a year or two ago. One of the airlines responded to me about a support thing, like a flight was delayed or something, and we had a back and forth multiple times. And clout took that to mean that, I'm somebody really, really important, and it took up my clout score to like 85 or something because of it, from like 70 something or whatever it was at the time. And I'm just like, so that's exactly how people who, you know, the people that follow 30,000 people to get 30,000 followers, that's exactly how they're manipulating their clout scores too.
Yeah, they're the best ones, the ones that follow you, and then after a while they unfollow you because you
didn't follow them back.
Well,
a lot of people do that. Even
if you follow them back, sometimes they unfollow you. And I read this in a book, actually, The Power of Twitter. It said, if you want to actually increase your followers so you've got more, it says you never want to have more followers or fewer followers than whichever. You know, you want to look like you're not some sado that's following more people than follow you.
You want them fairly equivalent. Yeah.
So it said.
I think I follow about 500.
I follow like 300.
Mine's about 800 or 900, something like that.
It's nothing to do with the percentages or anything like that. When there's somebody I want to read more by,
That's
I will have a look at their stream. I will see what recent tweets they've put out. I think, do I want this in my feed? And if I do, I follow them. And if I'm not convinced, if a lot of it is, you know, self-promotional stuff and it's not particularly interesting to me, I won't follow them.
I tend to follow people that I know more than anything, or that I've come across, or that I've met at a conference, or in some sort of, I've had a bit of engagement with beforehand, to be fair. Even if it's been in, like, you know, SEM Rush chat or ecom chat, because it's kind of, even though you're not meeting them, you feel as though you kind of have a decent awareness of them. So those are that I tend to follow.
I think that's one of the things that Twitter does very easily, you know, from our perspective, is you see what that other person is doing there. It's a little more complicated in a place like Google Plus. You know, if you have people that you're receiving notifications about their about what they're posting, that comes through. But what I find is, I was just talking about this on Google Plus the other day, but we're talking about, and there was a conversation about engagement, and you know, I have one what are they called, the groupings, collection.
Circle?
No, collection. I have no, because see, to me the circles meant something. Circles were people that, you know, somehow you categorized in whatever way you did, and then you interacted with them on that basis. But collections are this topical interrelationship that has to do with whatever that collection, the topic of that collection. So I have a collection called Semantic Writing, and I have like close to 18,000 followers. I'm like,
Really?
every time I look, there are more. Yeah, and every day in my notifications, Bill, Joe, Mary, and Muhammad just started following this group. But none of them ever say anything, or, you know, I get stuff like hi, you know, and so that means nothing. It means nothing to me that there are all those followers there, because they're not reacting. There's no
Engagement.
interaction with the people in my circle. That's where I get the interaction. But Google Plus has now discounted the circle, so you have to kind of go in secretly and fix your circles, you know.
Craig Burton always made me laugh because he started his strawberry collection, just
I know.
posting pictures of his strawberries in his garden, and then he started to get other people sending him pictures of strawberries, and I mean, that's well over 1 million followers.
Oh yeah, I know.
And it's pictures of strawberries.
I know. But you see, whenever you think of strawberry, you think of him. I mean, you know, it's now connected in my head.
So Craig Strawberry.
I'll tell you what, though, Google Plus, I think sometimes there's one that's there's one collection on there that calls itself YouTube Official, but it's not. Absolutely the most ridiculous amount of spam and pretty unsavory stuff actually that gets posted on there.
Oh yeah.
I'm amazed actually that they get away with calling themselves YouTube Official. Because clearly they're not, because it says powered by some digital marketing business, and it's just literally a public free-for-all where people just post any old terrible videos and stuff. You know,
in the communities that happens, you know.
I think that's what it is.
Because the collections are whatever that individual.
Right, it's the community
topic-oriented post, you know.
Yeah.
But the communities can be anything, and some of them are dreadful. I mean, there's no getting around the fact that they're dreadful. Or people are posting. It goes from anything from self-promotional garbage, in my opinion, self-promotional stuff, to just sort of random crazy, weird stuff, and anything in between. So, and the communities are good if the person who started the community and any moderators that they choose actually moderate the community. And there's some kind of criteria for how people join that community, and
the posts,
and it's moderated, and people who come in and do things that are outside the guidelines that someone has set up for their community, those people get bumped out. If there's no one paying attention to the community, that's when everything just explodes exponentially into crap. Pardon me, but that's what happens.
But you know, wouldn't you think that what's happening there? Sorry, is that me? Yeah, wouldn't you think that Google Plus or Google or whoever is behind the whole show would at least, you know, pick up on that and police it? Facebook have policing in place for spam, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Require someone to report it though, too, right?
Well,
even then, I mean, you can pretty easily spot when somebody, you know, all you do is, this is Google. They run filters on things all the time. They're policing everybody else's site. You'd think they police their own.
Yeah, it's pretty horrific. Some of the stuff on Google Plus, you know.
Yeah. I know when I first. Well, I've been on Google Plus since when it was by invitation only, because my son's a geek and he's like, "Mom, you ought to do this," you know. And and at that time, I was very involved in film and screenwriting and all that sort of thing. So the people that I met there were mostly from Europe, and we talked about film. But that was in the old days. There were no communities, and there were no
Or anything.
any of the segmentation that Google has now implemented on Google Plus. And the whole shift since the new Google Plus, this whole shift is toward topics rather than people. So people are actually, as people, discounted in that Google universe, as opposed to what they talk about, whatever it may be, whether it's strawberries or, you know, SEO. Or so it's all it's topic based now. That's why I say I still have my circles, because it used to be about people and how you related to people, and now it's about how you relate to topics and Google's perception of what's going on there. So that there's been a big shift in how people interact. So I don't know how new people coming in, I thought about this, I don't know how new people coming into Google Plus get that traction, because for me, the people with whom I engage on Google Plus are people that I knew before, and they were in my circle, so we still talk, you know.
That's the thing.
I don't know how new people are going to find the people that they really, you know, because the people individual orientation, you know, me as an entity has been pushed aside by me as a topic generator.
That's the problem, though. Is
So there's been
engage. Google went from having a social network to Google having just another content publishing platform. And you know what? They've got lots of these. They've got Blogger, they've got YouTube, you've got tons of places that you can, you know, focus on a topic and just get interaction from people who want to know about that topic. Google didn't need another one, and it really pissed me off that they turned G Plus into that. Look, this was a forum.
It was a forum.
Be hugely successful. It has to be deeply successful, and that, I think it was. The level of engagement here was fantastic. I mean, here we are. 2 years we've been running Bill and Ammon's Bogus Hangout, and that grew out of the Susie chats, which were, you know, 18 months or so before that.
Yeah.
Years and years of constant interesting conversation that was enabled by the G Plus platform.
Yep.
And what has the new G Plus started? Pictures. Nothing but. And half of those are porn based. And yeah, ludicrous. It was a bad decision.
Yeah, I think so. I have to agree. It's so disappointing for those of us who experienced that interaction and those really significant conversations. I mean, the significant conversations still happen on Google Plus, but it seems that for the most part, they're people that you already knew. And
Yeah.
I'm not seeing a lot of new people enter my Google sphere, as it were, since they made this shift. All the communications and the engagement and the conversations and all of those things are with people that I met on Google Plus, and we had, you know, real conversations. That was the beauty of Google Plus, were those real conversations. And, you know, Hangouts, the app, is still a wonderful tool. I mean, I was in 3 conversations on Friday afternoon, you know, and it was like, you know, that this real engagement about things happening and what we were doing and fixing things. And, oh, I don't know anything about this, but the person you should talk to is so-and-so, and then setting up a conversation on Hangout so the 2 of them could go back and forth and share files and stuff. And so that part, but all of those people are from before the shift.
Yeah. Well, it looks like YouTube and Hangouts have done it to us again, where a lot of people couldn't watch this week. Hopefully, the recording has gone up and they will be able to catch it later. But I don't know if even that's going to have worked. We'll find out once this has gone up. But what the hell? We still had a good chat. We wouldn't care if we had no audience at all, as long as we have an interesting discussion, and that's what we always do each week. Hopefully, we do get to share that with others. But if not, we'll redo the whole episode like hell we will. Next week, it had better get it right. That's all I will say. Let's have a round of what everyone's up to next week, because we're coming towards the end of the show, and you know we can actually get that in before we run out of time for once. Bill, let's start with you. What's up in the week ahead?
I have to put together a presentation for a conference I'm going to be attending in Arizona. It's called the NextCon 16. It's November 14th, 15th, and 16th. And I'm going to be talking about context vectors and how you might do keyword research based on context vectors.
Cool. I must admit, we will be looking forward to that. Make sure you do share the link to it if you put the presentation online, because I know a lot of our audience would like that. And hopefully, you know, that they can actually watch. Jen.
Writing, of course.
No.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything overly exciting planned this week that I can think of. Boring, I guess.
Yeah. No. Kristen, did you not expect this question as well?
No, I was actually thinking about this one. I'm going to be doing writing as well.
Excellent. Dawn, let's ask you. Even though you've come in the worst Halloween outfit ever, look, coming as Bill just by wearing a pair of glasses it's not enough.
These are reading glasses. My laser eye surgery is wearing off, and either that or I'm just getting old because my eyesight's changing a bit anyway. So these are just reading glasses, but they have got a leopard skin print on the side just for flashiness. But no, I'm going to be starting on the literature review for my dissertation, reading loads and loads of a mixture of papers on consumer choice theory and some stuff on pagination, and quite a lot of stuff on the way that Google handles near duplicate content. So, and designing my surveys and stuff for it. Yeah, so that's about it, really.
See, I'm the opposite. I have glasses for distance. I can't see the screen if I come out the computer.
I can actually see quite a long way away, I think. I need to get eye test again.
You're far-sighted. See, this is it. I'm nearsighted. 3 feet, perfect vision. I can't wear my glasses for anything under 3 feet. Or I can't read it, can't see it.
Books are
I can't
hardest.
watch the TV without my glasses, or I'm going, is that so-and-so? You know, for really famous faces, 'cause they're just a blur.
Well, I used to be very, very short-sighted, but I'm not now, obviously because of the laser eye thing. But with books, I'm struggling now. Anyway, get it sorted out somehow.
Cool. Zara, what are you up to this week? Writing, by any chance?
Oh yes, writing, but also I'm in hangout with Omicito and Michael Stricker on Saturday.
Oh, cool.
We're going to be talking about Penguin 4.
He's here. Let him promote his own hangout.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, it could be a Disappearo hangout like this one, you know, who knows. Anyway, I'm looking forward to that, so that's going to be fun. We had some scheduling conflicts that kept getting moved, but we finally got a date, even though it's Saturday. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And yes, more writing after that.
Cool. So Anton, I hear you've got a hangout coming up.
Well, yeah, I still have a couple of engagements with my with web promo tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. A couple of hangouts.
Yeah, cool. I noticed that a lot of old videos have been sort of re-uploaded to make sure that they don't disappear if the old company decide not to promote them anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's good.
just decide to keep them. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, we're all looking forward to seeing what's coming next, and you know what the step after that is. Because you know, I got faith in you. You know, I wrote you the little testimonial on LinkedIn. Meant every word of it. I think there are fantastic things you could do. What you have done in the past year.
Yeah,
Forget bootstrapping. You couldn't even afford shoelaces on the budget. You know, it's seriously good stuff, and you've done it all by networking across and up the chain from the first people you started to meet, who they can introduce you to. Can you know, get some of that, and we built on from there, and it's
politely networking. That's the thing.
Yes, exactly.
In a nice way, you know, in a nice, approachable way that you don't think, oh, this person's after something as soon as they reach out to you. So that is something you should be really proud of, Anton. Seriously.
You know, very rare.